Dahlia 9 was a quiet planet. Its skies were soft purple, and its forests were thick with tall blue trees that whispered in the wind. Birds with glowing feathers flew above, and gentle creatures moved in silence across the mossy ground. It looked like a peaceful paradise. But peace was a lie. In a hidden part of the forest, far from the main paths, lived a group of human children. They were not many, just 12 boys and girls. Some were as young as 4, others almost teenagers. They lived inside a camouflage shelter made of strong metal and leaves. It was invisible from the sky and protected by strange old tech no one understood. They had no adults with them, only each other. But they were not scared, because their mother had told them, no matter what happens, stay together. And remember, I will come if you're in danger. Her name was not spoken much, not even by the children. They only called her Mama. One morning, the youngest child, Ellie, was picking berries near the outer trees when she heard a loud sound, boom, boom, from above. She looked up and saw black ships cutting through the sky like knives. They were not human ships. Their shape was wrong, sharp, cold, evil. Ellie, a voice shouted. It was Jace, the oldest boy. He grabbed her hand. Run! Back to the shelter! The kids ran as the Empire's dropships landed like monsters falling from the clouds. Dust flew everywhere. The birds scattered. The ground shook. Alien soldiers poured out. Tall, green-skinned black warriors in black armor. Their eyes were red, and they carried plasma rifles. Behind them came small flying drones with blinking red lights scanning the trees. The soldiers spoke in their harsh language. Find the humans. They're small. Capture them alive. They moved quickly, but the children were already hidden. Jace had activated the emergency code. The shelter disappeared behind an invisibility field. All the kids crawled into small hidden rooms inside, hearts pounding, except Ellie. She had dropped her necklace outside. I need to get it, she whispered. No, Jace said. Mama said never go back once the alarm is on. But Ellie didn't listen. She crawled out. Outside, one of the alien drones spotted her. Human child located, it beeped. 2 soldiers ran toward her. Ellie screamed. Suddenly, the wind changed. The birds stopped singing. The air became ice cold. One soldier froze. Did you feel that? The other raised his weapon. Just grab her. But then, a whisper came through the trees. A soft voice, female, full of rage. You touched my cub. The first soldier spun around. Who said that? No one was there. Suddenly, a blur of shadow moved between the trees. The drone exploded without warning. Pow! Metal and sparks, flying in the air. The soldiers raised their guns, but it was too late. One was pulled into the trees, screaming. His voice stopped suddenly. The second soldier fired wildly into the forest. Nothing. He backed away, shaking. Command, I need help. Something is out here. But before he could finish, a metal wire wrapped around his neck. He was yanked into the dark. Ellie stood frozen, eyes wide. Then, a hand touched her shoulder. She turned. It was Mama. She wore dark armor that shimmered like oil. Her face was hidden behind a black hood. Her eyes glowed faintly in the shadows. You okay, baby? She asked softly. Ellie nodded, trembling. You came. I always come, Mama said. She picked up the necklace and gave it back to Ellie. From her wrist, she tapped a small device. A voice crackled in her ear. More dropships inbound. Empire knows about the children. She sighed. So they really don't know who they're dealing with. Holding Ellie close, she vanished into the forest, leaving no trace. Back inside the command ship, an alien general watched the footage. His red eyes narrowed. 2 soldiers gone, drone destroyed. And no trace of who did it? The tech officer nodded. Something's wrong, sir. The forest isn't normal. We're picking up interference, old tech, maybe human tech. The general slammed his fist on the console. Ridiculous. They're just human children. But deep in the darkest parts of the galaxy, there were whispers, old stories, of a human woman with many names. Some called her Death's Hand. Others called her the Ghost of Earth. But the one name that made even warlords tremble, Baba Yaga. And now, she was angry. It began with a lullaby. In the quiet of the shelter, little Ellie hummed softly as the others rested. The walls around them glowed faintly, powered by ancient tech Mama had left behind. No one spoke, not after what happened outside. But above them, death was flying in. High in the clouds, the Empire's war cruiser Obedience hovered like a black vulture. Inside its command chamber, General Varn of the Brock Empire watched the forest below with burning eyes. He had failed once. He would not fail again. "Send the purge troopers," he growled, "and bring me the head of the human ghost." Moments later, a second wave of dropships descended. These were different, sleek, armored, filled with red-eyed enforcers and mechanical dogs with plasma fangs. The trees shook, animals fled, the ground burned where the ships landed, but the forest fought back. The moment the troops set foot on the soil, the birds screamed. It wasn't normal. It was like the entire forest was warning something, or someone. Inside the hidden shelter, Jace's wristband blinked red. "Motion sensors," he whispered. "They're coming." The older kids grabbed their gear. Nothing deadly, just stun, sticks and smoke screens. Tools Mama had trained them to use. Outside, the Empire unleashed chaos. The mechanical dogs sprinted through the trees, scanning for heat. They found signs, footprints, a fallen child's toy, and began the chase. One of the dogs barked, loud and strange, then vanished behind a bush. It didn't return. The nearest trooper moved to investigate. He found only the metal skull of the dog placed gently on a rock with a single black feather beside it. He stepped back. "We have movement. South quadrant. Something's out here." Sssst. A laser sliced past his helmet, not from in front, but from behind him. He spun. No, just the wind, and the sound of a woman humming that same lullaby Ellie had sung minutes before. "Command." He screamed, "We're not alone." Suddenly, all trooper comms crackled. "Your soldiers scream like children," said a woman's voice, soft but full of fire. "Didn't your emperor teach you not to touch things that don't belong to you?" Back at the command ship, General Varn froze. That voice, he had heard it once long ago on a battlefield that should not exist anymore. "No," he whispered. "It can't be." Down below, chaos exploded. Traps triggered, nets of pure energy, sonic blasts that made heads spin, and hidden drones that released fog so thick you couldn't see your own hands. The troopers panicked. Some fired in all directions. Others ran, but none could find the children, because the children were not running anymore. They were following the plan, Mama's plan. Stay low, stay hidden. Don't fight, unless you must. From the trees, young Jace watched a trooper trip and fall into a camo pit. "Goodbye," he whispered. Farther away, two young girls used a signal jammer to crash the enemy's flying scanners. Ellie, holding Mama's small blade, stood near a trap gate. Her hand didn't shake, not anymore. This was their home. These were their rules, and they weren't alone. Above the forest, invisible to the Empire's sensors, Baba Yaga stood on a thick branch, her cloak flowing in the wind like shadow. Her face was covered, but her eyes gleamed through the smoke and leaves. She watched the chaos unfold and smiled. Then she dropped, not like a person, like a blade. She landed in silence behind the biggest Brock squad and whispered, "Boo." They didn't have time to turn. Screams. Bones snapping, sparks flying, and then silence again. One trooper managed to crawl away, blood trailing behind him. He tapped his comm with shaking fingers. "Command, we need backup." "She's here." "Who? Who's there?" "She walks like a ghost. No sound, eyes like death. She's not human." "Speak name, soldier." But the soldier died before he could answer. Back on the cruiser, the tech officer turned to the general. "Sir, the kids are still missing. But now, 10 more troopers gone. Killed by one person." General Varn clenched his jaw. "She warned. We didn't listen." He stood up. "Prepare the Omega Hunters. If she truly is the Baba Yaga, then only nightmares can fight her." But deep down, even he knew, there are no nightmares worse than an angry mother. The survivors couldn't stop shaking. Inside the Empire's forward base on Dahlia 9, 6 armored Brak soldiers sat in silence. These were not rookies. They were killers, trained for war. But now they stared at each other like scared children. Their armor was scratched. One had blood on his shoulder, another kept whispering, "She was there, behind me, in the smoke." "Enough," their commander shouted. "You are Brak. Act like warriors." But none of them answered. Because one of them had seen her face, in the fog. Not a monster, not a soldier, just a woman, a human woman. But her eyes, they were not normal. At the same time, light years away, in a black vault deep inside the Galactic archive, an old robot woke up. Dust fell from its joints. As it moved for the first time in 400 years, its name was Archivist Delta 7. Its task? To monitor dangerous names. It blinked. A red alert flashed across its screen. Name triggered, Baba Yaga. Location, Dahlia 9. Status, active. A warning message was sent to the Empire's main command center. Level red, human asset designation. Baba Yaga has re-emerged. Caution. Do not engage, do not provoke, do not harm her children. But the message arrived too late. General Varn stood alone in his chamber, staring at a black and white photo. It was old, taken during the war between humans and the Xenthix Alliance decades ago. In the photo, there was a battlefield, burned, tanks and a single human woman standing in the middle, holding a child in one arm, and a plasma blade in the other. She was smiling, but behind her, 10 Xenthix corpses lay broken on the ground. "Is it really her?" Varn whispered to himself. "After all these years?" He pressed a button on the wall. "Get me everything on Project Ghostmother." Back on Dahlia 9, the children sat in the secret shelter, listening to Jace. He spoke softly, like telling a bedtime story. "Before we came here, Mama wasn't just a mom. She was something else. Something even the generals were afraid of." The kids leaned in. They called her many things. Shadow of Earth, the Hand of Wrath. But to the aliens, she was only one thing. Ellie's eyes went wide. "Baba Yaga?" Jace nodded. "Yes, it means the witch, the one who takes revenge, the one who hunts those who hurt children." Another boy asked, "But why is she hiding now?" Jace looked at the floor. "Because she broke the rules. She protected children from both sides. Even alien kids. The Empire wanted her gone. So she disappeared. But now, they made her come back." In the Empire's mobile lab, a young alien analyst searched through old war logs. His hands trembled. "Sir," he said to his officer, "we found something." A hollow screen turned on, showing video footage. It was from a long time ago. An alien general shouted orders. "Kill the hostages." Then, she appeared. A flash. A blur. A scream. One by one, the alien soldiers fell. Crushed, stabbed, silenced. The woman, Baba Yaga, moved like a ghost. No wasted moves. No hesitation. Then she picked up the alien children and walked away. Even the camera shook. The analyst looked up. She saved them. She didn't care if they were human or not. The officer paled. She's not just a fighter. She's a protector. That night, in the forest of Dahlia 9, torches flickered. A group of elite Empire bounty hunters stood around a campfire. They were dressed in black armor, faces hidden by masks. They were silent and still. Then a tall female figure stepped into the firelight. Her armor was scarred. Her face had one long cut across her cheek. Her eyes burned like fire. She didn't speak, just threw a bag on the ground. It landed with a loud thump. Inside it was the helmet of a purge trooper, cracked, burned. She looked at them all. "If you hurt another child," she said coldly, "I won't give you a warning next time." She turned and walked back into the shadows. No one followed. No one dared. The whispers began that same night. Across the stars, in smuggler bars and war camps, aliens spoke softly. "She's back. The ghost mother. The Baba Yaga walks again." And the story always ended the same way. If you see a child in the woods, run, because their mother is near. It started with silence. Not normal silence, but the kind that makes soldiers freeze mid-step. No birds, no wind, not even insects. The forest of Dahlia 9 had gone still. Elite Empire scouts moved slowly between the tall blue trees. They scanned, for heat signatures, eyes watching every shadow. Their orders were clear. Find the children. Destroy the shelter. Kill anything in the way. They thought it would be easy. Then the trees blinked. Not really. But something moved so fast it looked like the forest had eyes. One trooper turned. "Did you see that?" The others shook their heads, but when they turned back around, he was gone. Only his boots remained, and a strange feather resting on top. Inside the hidden command tent, Commander Rylax of the Empire was growing angry. "This is impossible," he hissed. "They're just kids." And one woman, the tech officer, looked pale. "Sir, we've lost 12 men, 2 scanners, 3 dogs. Something is hunting us." Commander Rylax slammed his fist. "Deploy the fire drones. Burn the forest if you have to." The tech hesitated. "Sir, we're not authorized to destroy planetary ecosystems." "I don't care." Far above, inside the trees, Baba Yaga watched everything. She moved like smoke, her armor dark and silent. In her hand, she held a strange, glowing knife. It wasn't alien tech. It wasn't human either. It was hers. She tapped her earpiece. "Jace?" "Yes, Mama," came the boy's voice. "Begin protocol shadow." "Yes, Mama, we're ready." She smiled. "Good, let's scare them." Deep below the trees, hidden, tunnels came to life. The children weren't hiding anymore. They were activating the forest. Mama had built it over the years. Traps, systems, AI defenses, even fake human signals to confuse scanners. The first trap was simple. Noise bombs. Suddenly, hundreds of recorded voices played at once from speakers hidden in the trees. Babies crying, children laughing, footsteps running. The soldiers panicked. Targets. All around. No visual. Where are they? Then the second trap activated. Mirror drones. Small flying machines that projected holograms of running children in all directions. "There!" A soldier screamed and fired, only to realize he shot at a fake image. The real shot came from behind. A blast of green energy hit his weapon, melting it in his hands. He screamed. From above, Baba Yaga dropped like a shadow, landing on one of the drones and jumping off midair. Her feet hit a trooper's helmet. Crack. 2 others turned to fire. Too late. A spinning disc flew through the air, slicing their guns in half. It bounced off a tree, returned to her hand like a boomerang. She whispered, "You came for my children, now the forest is mine." Meanwhile, the children were not helpless either. Jace led a team of 3 through an old tunnel. He placed EMP charges near the command tower. "Set timer 30 seconds, he said. "Done," said Ellie, holding the detonator. "Now run." Behind them, boom. A section of the Empire's base exploded in fire and smoke. From the trees above, dozens of wild birds, released by Mama's signal, swooped down, pecking and blinding the confused soldiers. The forest was no longer a place. It was a weapon. General Varn received the report minutes later. "Sir, forest defenses are active. Children are mobile. Enemy woman is controlling the environment." "How many casualties?" "Unknown. Possibly more than 30. He slammed the table. Retreat all forward squads. Regroup at the outer ring. But sir, do it now. We underestimated her. We were never hunting her children. He looked at the live feed. She was hunting us. At dusk, the last trooper limped back to camp, face burned, helmet missing. He collapsed in front of the gate, eyes wide with fear. What did this? Someone asked. He opened his mouth. She walks in the dark. She makes the trees move. He fainted. In his hand was a feather. Black. Still warm. Later that night, deep in the forest, the children gathered around Mama. She stood beside a campfire, cloak flowing behind her. You did well, she told them. They will come back, but not tonight. Ellie asked, Mama, are they scared of us now? Mama knelt, smiled softly, and said, They should be, because this forest is my home, and you are my heart. Jay stood guard nearby, holding a stun rifle. Above them, the stars burned quietly. But in the Empire's ships, fear was growing. They came to Dahlia 9 thinking they were predators. Now they knew the truth. They had stepped into a trap. A mother's trap. And the forest wasn't finished yet. They didn't send soldiers this time, they sent monsters. From the dark edges of the galaxy, the Empire called in its hidden weapon, the Omega Pack. Not an army, not a squad. A nightmare team built for one mission: kill the unkillable. Even the Yaw. Empire's generals didn't speak their names out loud. The Omega Pack was made of exiled warriors, mutated assassins, and cyber hunters who had no loyalty, only a hunger for death. And now, they were headed to Dahlia 9 to hunt one woman. Baba Yaga stood on a high cliff, watching the stars as 6 new black ships fell from the sky like burning arrows. She said nothing, but her eyes narrowed. Jace, standing beside her, whispered, Mama, those ships aren't like the others. They're not, she replied. They sent hunters. He gripped his stun rifle. Can we beat them? She didn't answer. She just walked away and whispered, Tell the forest to wake up. In the deepest part of Dahlia 9, the old systems turned on. Tunnels once closed began to open. Machines buried for years hummed to life. Trees moved slightly as if breathing. Mama had not only protected the forest, she had wired it. The Omega Pack landed without sound. They wore no insignia. Their eyes glowed silver. Some were half machine. One had no face, just a metal mask that shifted shapes. The leader, known only as Null, looked at the map. The woman is close. The children are bait. This ends tonight. They split up, silent as ghosts. Ellie was the first to notice. Her little ear device buzzed. Mama, there's something strange, she whispered. Where are you? Baba Yaga asked. In the red zone, near the old water pipes. Stay low. Do not run. Let them come. One Omega hunter slithered through the trees like smoke. He saw Ellie crouching alone. He grinned and stepped forward. Click. The ground exploded beneath him. Ellie rolled away as the hidden trap launched him 20 feet in the air. He landed hard. Before he could stand, vines moved. Real vines. Wrapping around his arms like living snakes. He screamed, but the forest didn't let go. The trees had become part of Mama's army. In another zone, 2 hunters cornered Jace, and 3 kids in a clearing. You're just children, one said coldly. We're her children, Jace replied. Suddenly, the ground beneath the hunter glowed. A solar trap. A burst of blinding light hit him directly. The second hunter tried to fire, but Jace tossed a plasma ball at his feet. The explosion knocked the trees flat. From behind the smoke, Baba Yaga stepped out. She didn't run. She walked. You hurt my forest, she said. Now I'll hurt you. She moved faster than they could react. Her knife flashed once, then twice. One hunter fell, sparks flying from his cyber chest. The other raised his weapon, but she was already behind him. He collapsed seconds later. Jace watched in awe. Mama, you're faster than ever. She wiped. the blade clean. They made me remember who I used to be. Meanwhile, inside the Empire's flagship above the planet, General Varn got the update. 2 hunters neutralized. 3rd captured by unknown plant life. She's fighting back harder than expected, sir. Varn turned to the communications officer. Send the doomsday weapon. Sir, it's forbidden. Send it. If she survives this, we surrender the galaxy to her. Back on the planet, as night fell, the sky cracked open. A weapon dropped. Not a bomb, not a drone, a living machine. 10 stories tall, built to destroy bunkers, built to erase forests. Its name was Ashbringer. Children screamed. The forest shook. Even Baba Yaga stopped, for a moment, and stared. Jace asked, "What is that?" Her voice turned cold. That is what they use when they lose control. Ashbringer activated its pulse cannon. A beam of light shot across the forest, turning trees into ash in seconds. Baba Yaga whispered something in an old human language, then tapped her wrist. Buried beneath the planet's crust, something older than the Empire opened its eyes. System Primordia. Awake. The ground cracked. A massive arm of metal and roots rose to meet the Ashbringer. Mama didn't just build defenses, she grew a guardian. The forest roared. Lightning struck from above. Vines climbed the weapon's legs. Old turrets burst from the trees, firing with precision. And in the middle of it all, one human mother stood tall, not running, not hiding, ready to burn down the stars for her children. Before she was a mother, she was a myth. Baba Yaga stood on a ridge overlooking the burning forest. Smoke curled around her like a cloak. The sky glowed red from fire and war. Behind her, the children huddled in silence, watching her shoulders rise and fall. She had not spoken in 10 minutes. Not after the Ashbringer dropped from the sky. Not after it burned a path through her home. Not even after the vines she had raised like her own hands were scorched. But something had changed. She wasn't scared. She wasn't even angry. She was quiet. And when Baba Yaga went quiet, someone was going to die. Inside the Empire's command ship, General Varn watched a live feed. His jaw was tight, his claws tapped against metal. "She's still alive?" he hissed. "Yes, sir," the tech officer replied. "But something's different. Her energy levels just spiked. Sensors say she's running hotter than our fusion cores." "That's not possible," Varn snapped, but deep down he wasn't so sure anymore. Baba Yaga reached into her armor and pulled out a small square chip. Black, scratched. It hummed with ancient power. Jace watched, confused. "What's that, Mama?" She looked at him with soft eyes. "The last piece of me. The part I buried." She knelt, placed the chip into a hidden slot inside a tree stump, and whispered a code. "Echo Protocol 741. Unlock Ghost Archive." The ground trembled. The stump opened. A hidden terminal lit up. Holograms filled the air, videos, maps, names, and then her voice began to play. Not her voice now. Her voice from the past. Operative 13, Baba Yaga, former agent of the old. Earth Defense Unit classified Black Star. Mission logs from Operation Starlight, Operation Iron Flame, and Operation Blood Sky. Jace gasped. "Mama, you were a soldier?" She shook her head slowly. "I was worse." The holograms showed footage the galaxy had forgotten. A younger Baba Yaga stood on a battlefield. Her face was cold. Her eyes burned. She moved through enemy troops like lightning, silent, fast, deadly. She infiltrated alien warships. She hacked systems with her bare hands. She walked through fire and didn't slow down. She ended wars alone. She didn't take orders. She gave them. Another file opened. Warning: Operation Forbidden Ghost. Terminated Agent 13 after she refused to follow the Burn All protocol. Target protected alien children. Went rogue, disappeared. The kids around her stared, eyes wide. "You saved alien children too?" Ellie whispered. "Yes. Baba Yaga said softly. A child is a child. Doesn't matter what color their skin is or where they were born. But the Empire, Jace began, hunted me for it. They erased me from history. She turned her eyes to the sky. And now they want to erase my children too. Inside the Empire ship, General Varn heard her voice on the intercept feed. He clenched his fists. She's using the ghost archives, the tech said. She's going to leak her old missions. The galaxy will know what we did. Varn shouted. Send a signal to Jammer now. But it was too late. Baba Yaga had already tapped into the Empire's broadcast towers. Across the galaxy, screens blinked to life. Smugglers, traders, farmers, soldiers, alien warlords, pirates, civilians. They all saw her. I am Baba Yaga. I was the Empire's secret. Then I became its shame. You burned my name. You hunted my children. Now I burn your lies. I don't want war. I don't want blood. I only want peace. For my children. But if you come again, know this. She stepped forward. The camera zoomed in on her eyes. I will become your nightmare. The children looked at her with awe and fear, but also pride. Ellie ran to her and hugged her leg. You're the strongest person in the galaxy. Baba Yaga smiled and knelt beside her. No, child. I'm just a mother who remembered who she was. Suddenly, alarms rang again. Jace's scanner beeped. Mama! More ships! A whole fleet! She stood slowly. They don't believe me yet. Far above, 30 Empire warships appeared out of hyperspace. Inside the lead ship, General Varn snarled, Fire on the planet! Wipe it clean! The order went out, but before a single shot could hit, the sky cracked. Another fleet appeared, not human, not Empire. Ships of old allies, forgotten friends, outlaws and rebels she had saved long ago. They had seen the broadcast, and they came. One by one, they hailed her. Ghost Mother, we owe you. This fight is ours too. Touch her kids again and you'll answer to all of us. The Empire hesitated. For the first time in 1,000 years, they were outnumbered. And Baba Yaga? She stood in silence, holding her daughter's hand, watching the sky. Her past was no longer a secret. Now it was her weapon. The stars were no longer silent. They burned with ships, hundreds of them. Empire war fleets floated like steel mountains in the sky. But across from them, an unexpected armada had formed. Alien smugglers, rebel warriors, forgotten peacekeepers. Even enemy species once hunted by the Empire now flew together under one signal, a signal sent by a mother, Baba Yaga. On the ground, the children stood beside her, eyes wide. Some held hands, others clutched makeshift weapons. But they were no longer afraid. The forest behind them was scorched and torn but alive, defiant, and above them. The Empire hesitated. For the first time, they feared one woman more than their emperor. Inside the Empire's command ship, General Varn stared at the tactical map. His face was pale, his voice low. She called the galaxy. He whispered. A commander asked, "Should we fire?" Varn said nothing. Then a message came through. From her. A hologram lit up across every Empire ship. Baba Yaga stood tall, a child holding each of her hands. The fire behind her still burned, but her voice was calm. You came to take what was mine. You called my children weak. You thought they were alone. But now you see, we are never alone. This forest raised warriors. My pain raised shields. My love raised an army. She stepped forward. Her eyes locked with every enemy commander's. This is my last warning. You will leave this planet. You will never touch another human child again. Or next time. She raised her hand and the sky behind her exploded. A captured Empire satellite crashed to the ground in flames, her final gift. Next time I won't ask. On board the Empire ship, silence followed. Then General Varn stood slowly. He removed his command badge, crushed it in his fist. and turned to his officers. We retreat. But now, across the battlefield, the Empire fleet slowly turned. One by one, the ships vanished into the stars. They did not fire a single shot, not out of kindness, out of fear. On the forest floor, the children cheered. Ellie jumped into Baba Yaga's arms. "You did it." "No," Baba Yaga said gently. "We did it." Jace looked up. "What now?" She took a breath. "Now we rebuild. We grow again. This time together." The days that followed were quiet, but not empty. Helpers from other planets arrived. Alien engineers repaired the shelter. Farmers brought food. Healers treated wounds. Artists carved statues of the battle in the forest. A statue of Baba Yaga stood tallest of all, but she asked it be placed behind the children's statue. Because, she said, they were the reason she fought. In secret corners of the galaxy, some still planned revenge, but they always whispered first. "Are you sure that's one of hers?" "Don't touch him. His mother could be." "You know who." "Baba Yaga? No, don't say her name." And so her name became more than legend. It became a promise. If you harm the innocent, you will face the shadow in the trees. You will face the wrath of a woman who once brought empires to their knees. Not for glory, not for power, but because someone made one small mistake that they attacked her children.